Mr. Herzog, you've been promoting your separation plan in recent weeks, which basically calls for an Israeli unilateral pullout from parts of the West Bank. So is the two-state solution dead? Is that it?
No, it's not dead. The two-state solution is the only viable solution to protect the well-being of Israel as a Jewish democracy. However, right now, it is not feasible to implement it due to the fact that, first and foremost, both leaders are not willing to take the necessary steps to implement it. And therefore, what I came out with is a plan that, on the one hand, protects Israeli security, Israelis and their own personal security. Two, does not speak about unilateral pullout. On the contrary, it speaks about steps that are concrete to separate the two communities in order to calm down the situation. And three, preserves the vision and idea of a two-state solution.
Have you presented this plan to any Palestinian official? When was the last time you met Mahmoud Abbas?
Not necessarily. I've been talking to many people around the world, leaders and Palestinians too, but nothing formal. Let's be frank about it. I came to this conclusion after months of deliberations. I was looking at the situation following my meeting with President Abbas in August. In August, I met with President Abbas. And I said, of course, that he is a partner for peace. And I also alerted that President Abbas told me that we are on the verge of a third intifada. And I begged on him to prevent it, and I begged on Netanyahu to prevent it, and both were reluctant to take the necessary steps to stop what we have seen as kind of the wave coming forward in September. And since then, we are in an era of yet another round of bloodshed and terror. And that is why I came to the conclusion that both leaders, whilst they have the call of history to take steps, they're not doing so. So let's take steps that calm down the situation, separate the communities, and preserve the two-state solution.
So President Abbas is not a partner for peace?
I said then and I say now that he is a partner for peace. However, both him and Netanyahu are reluctant to take the steps necessary to promote and advance the two-state solution, either because they are both under pressure from their extremists, or because both of them are simply not willing to do so. So the fact that they shake hands in Paris at the ecological summit becomes a news. This is ridiculous. News, handshaking, and they need to apologize and explain why they are doing so. This is outrageous, and therefore history will judge them for their failure to move on. And I demand on them to move on. And right now, the only viable alternative is my separation plan, which says 4 things. 1, complete the barrier around the blocks so that people cannot come with knives or with any other weapons to attack Israelis. 2, put a barrier around 28 Muslim Palestinian villages, not neighborhoods, villages, around Jerusalem, from where many of the attackers are coming in. 3, give more authority to the Palestinian Authority in their territories, including in Area C, civilian authorities, so that they can continue to build their own state, namely move towards the two-state solution. And lastly, predominantly convene a regional security conference with all the moderate elements in the region who share with us the same vision. On the one hand, the threat from Iran and ISIL. On the other hand, trying to move within our group, within the region, towards a regional settlement as well as direct talks with the Palestinians.
And you mentioned the regional conference. So Paris has just presented a plan that calls about convening an international conference. So it's very similar to your plan. Why not support the French plan?
I heard that idea when I was in Paris. I promoted my idea of regional security conference. I did not rule out the idea of a peace conference, except that one needs to define what are the terms of reference of such a conference, and that's where you fall flat on your face, where you build high expectations, and then at the end, it's literally a fist fight of leaders with no real content. So that is why one needs to be cautious about giving it a large zoom. I said, let's focus on security. We are seeing the hungry tiger get out of the cage from Iran. We are seeing what's going on in ISIL. We are seeing Syria. There are many challenges, Hamas. Let's get all the moderate Sunni states who have a convergence of interest with Israel Let's talk with them about intelligence and weapons and security and strategic issues, and promote a dialogue between us and the Palestinians.
Some of the critics in your party have said you are a, quote, copy of Netanyahu. So what's the difference between you and the Israeli Prime Minister?
I'm very happy that my party conference gave me an overwhelming support in a huge step. I mean, very few people objected. Yes, there was criticism. I heard Sheli Yachimovic and Ayman Oda and Zahava Galon straight out there from the deep left attacking me on my idea that I've said the truth, that right now in the current circumstances, the reality is that we cannot complete the two-state solution. In fact, yesterday Chancellor Merkel said it herself. So what do we do from now on? There are two possibilities only. Bennett's plan, annex areas in the Palestinian territory, total calamity. I'm against it vehemently. Or move towards separation. Create facts on the ground that lead to the two-state solution, and yet take your fate in your own hands. All in all, there's a great difference between me and Netanyahu. He doesn't want to separate from the Palestinians, and I do. He doesn't want to take any steps that would change the course of history on the ground. I do. That's the main difference.
Let's say tomorrow morning Netanyahu wakes up in the morning and says, okay, I'm going to adopt Herzog's separation plan. Would you consider joining his government?
I will help him to implement any plan that advances the separation and the calming down of the terror attack and moves towards the implementation of the two-state solution. All the rest is totally theoretical. We've said it to him in the parliament last week. Take bold steps, we'll help you. This is what we are willing to do. But he's not willing to do that, and so is Abu Mazen. And they have to do it. They simply have to do it.
Mr. Herzog, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.